Hello to the camera and to the ether. A little sweaty again today because it's a wonderfully warm day in Bangalore, thanks to climate change. But nonetheless, there are so many things outside of us that we can blame for our own inadequacies. But where do we get there? What's there to do? Do we relinquish all control of our life and all meaning of action by offloading any responsibility, or rather all responsibility, onto the circumstances of the world? Or do we then say it is as it is, but there are things that I can change, things that you can change, that we must act upon? And it is that change that I wanted to talk about today, which is that even once you've adopted a process, even once you've adopted a mindset, the process of getting to a level of proficiency in that mindset is also a matter of patience and effort. It's something that you have to wait for. It's something that you not wait for in idleness. It's you act, you put in the effort, and then you wait. The reason specifically I wanted to talk about change today is that I think a lot of today's experiences led me to reflect on the change in character I've had over the past few years, which also led me to another conclusion that I'll share with you later. But that change is something that I'm very grateful for, and that definitely did not happen overnight. Like, I don't think I don't think anything happens overnight. Part of this realization also comes from this one quote that I remembered when I was speaking to an acquaintance who ties into a story later. But this quote is from Ernest Hemingway, I guess, which is that, just give me a sec, I really need to look up this quote because I don't want to butcher it. It's written by a just give me a second. Perhaps it was not Hemingway. Wow, okay. I'm not able to find that quote. It's written by this quote was written by an author, unless I'm hallucinating it, and I'm sorry to have taken up around, I think, 30 seconds on what is perhaps a hallucination. But I remember that this quote was the reason I wanted to look it up is that I don't remember it exactly. I remember the gist of it, so I'm going to butcher the shit out of it when I repeat it, which is that I think this author has asked the question as to how they got poor by an interviewer, and he says slowly at first and then all of a sudden. And I think that applies to growth as well, which is that it's slowly at first and then all of a sudden. Overnight growth isn't really overnight. It's years, or rather several bouts of protracted effort whose recognition happens overnight. It's not the effort themselves that happens overnight. It's It's that the world realizes it overnight, not that the effort did not exist. And I think change in character also happens in such a way that there is consistent effort, and that that change in character is such goes at such a glacial pace that you don't really recognize it, or rather you're not even able to see it. But then all of a sudden, sometime down the line, it hits you. You are the person that you were striving to be a few years ago. And likewise, if you stick to the consistency of your effort, you will be the person that you want to be in a few years. And all of life, or rather all of the things that you want to achieve, becomes then a matter of time and effort. Everything else can go to shit. It's a matter of time and effort. And so many of us are very easily discouraged by the fact that our efforts don't bear fruit immediately. I think it's the issue with how we've come to expect our efforts to bear fruit. Perhaps we've become conditioned by the by like social media, that we see that we assume, because on social media there's so much achievement happening, we assume that it happens at that frequency at which you see it in social media, which is very high. But in reality, yes, achievements happen, but they happen over a long period of time with effort. I'm not saying this at all to discourage you, or like reduce your expectations, but it is perhaps more likely that you will stick to a journey when you don't expect the finish line immediately, and rather savor the process and realize that it's the process what eventually leads you to that point. So if you can savor the process and see that as some fraction of the whole, then I think you can find a lot of value in simply putting in consistent effort over time. And I'm very grateful for the kind of change that I've seen in my character, because I'll be honest with you, I was very quick to show love in places where I would never get it back. Not to say that love is a transactional thing, or that it only has meaning when it's returned, but to say that there are some people that deserve selfless love, and those are the ones that return selfless love. Or rather, forget selflessness. I think I'm still too quick to romanticize, but I'm someone who's aware of it now, and less prone to wasting my time on women that are clearly not worth my while. Like, there have been, I give you the specific example, or rather the specific instance. Someone I'd asked out a long time ago who'd strung me along for around 2 months over chat, because I'm an artistic guy. I or rather I'm a I write well. I don't want to say I'm a writer, because I feel like that's far too lofty a title to give myself. Or rather, I write decently, and that I wrote some poetry for her, and she strung me along for 2 months under the guise that she was into me, only to tell me later that I have none of the qualities that she found attractive. Because she listed all the things that she found attractive. And the hilarious bit was I was not devastated by it. I was like, at least I know now, for fuck's sake, leave me alone, woman. And this same, human being, after admitting, or rather, very weird, perhaps not admitting, but like almost admitting the fact that she'd only spoken to me because I was, giving her attention, comes back to me today over chat for more, because she was expecting me to speak the same poetic way that I do. And she tried pandering me a bit, saying that, uh, men buy her things but they don't write her poetry anymore. And I realized that I'm very grateful for the position I'm in now, because I no longer waste my words for people who only want, and no longer give to those who only want. And I'm very grateful for that change. And I think that change is high time, that I've perhaps got to become more selfish in this world if I ever wish to be selfless. If that makes sense. It is that I must prioritize what I've characterized as the ego so far. Because then I can truly fuel achievements in this world and get to a position where I can then fill others' cups. Then be more selfless. I think the idea is similar to how in airplanes you have the oxygen mask dropping down, right? It's always advised that you stick the oxygen mask on yourself first and then try to help others. I think it feels so, perhaps I've been socially conditioned to think this, but it feels so wrong to even say that out loud, that I wish to be more selfish. I wish to think more about what I can do in this world, and or rather, what I can do for me, how I can benefit from this world. I'm not so sure if I've not already been selfish, because if you look at so many of my other streams, I've pretty much been only talking about how I feel, what I think, right? But nonetheless, this has an instinctual certainness to it, so I'm gonna pursue it nonetheless. And the second thing is, I feel like I've been feeling happy lately, because I'm being consistent with my work, touch wood, actually like planning out what I want to do, touch wood, and getting things done, touch wood. And that's led me to feel happier. And I feel almost guilty to be happy. I don't know why, because there's some part of me that says that I can no longer write if I am happy. Like, is pain such a necessary component of creativity, or have I tricked myself into thinking that because I'm masochistic as fuck? Like, there's a part of me that's afraid that if I'm happy here, then I'll never ever try to get better. That people who find happiness here are the ones that remain here, and you know, never make it to the peaks that I want to make it to. Like, there's a guilt that comes with happiness, because forget the worldly sense of it being unfair, because there's so much suffering in this world, but it's also the ultimate selfish reason that what if I stop pushing myself because I'm happy? I don't know. I can't reason around that, because that seems like a very real thing that can happen. But then, happiness is something that's found in small bouts. That I'm happy now because as a as as a person who can respect myself, I'm better than I used to be. But it's a matter of time before I need the. It's a matter of time before I need to. It's only a matter of time before I need to get more in order to achieve that same level of happiness. That, like it or not, we're perhaps in this eternal cycle of climb and tiny plateau, and then climb and then tiny plateau, and then climb and then tiny plateau. So I think I'm in that tiny plateau right now. Not in the sense that there's no progress, but there's progress happening, which is why there's a tiny plateau in the happiness. Because I don't know, there's no longer a struggle. Maybe this is something I need to look into myself objectively, because that does not sound like a very healthy way to process things. But fuck healthy, man. I just want to win. I want to have power in life. I want to have money. I mean, like, physically healthy and mentally healthy, and like I'll trade off. Maybe say I'll die around 75, 80. That's fine with me. And mentally healthy. I think even when I'm not, you know, in the right state of mind, I have no problems, because I think I've completely embraced the stoic. I think I've completely embraced the stoic wisdom of saying that if you're alive, everything else is a plus. I'm very happy to have a bunch of pluses. Just wow, guilt from happiness. So what a first world problem to have. Yeah, all of the things that I discuss are first world problems, but I think yeah, I think that's one of the things that I should be grateful for. That I am very grateful for. All of my problems are first world problems. I don't really have to worry about where my next meal is coming from, if I'm going to sleep under four walls, under the safety of my own house. Don't have to worry about all of that. I'm very grateful for that. Which means that, yes, that's a reason to work even in happiness, which is to make sure that I retain this comfort and extend this comfort onto other human beings. That's definitely a reason to work even when you're happy. And I think you'll always have higher and higher goals to pursue, and you're gonna pursue them nonetheless. Happy, sad, angry. I think you're gonna pursue them because I think without pursuit we just feel very bored in life, and there will come a time to embrace that boredom, but that's not now. So burn away. Anyways, take my advice with not a pinch of salt, but maybe a 10-ton bag of it, because I'm a novice at this life thing myself. So, anyways, good night to you, to the camera, to the ether and fairs whenever you watch this.